Just a report from the field for those of you who weren't there. It was a nice festival yesterday in Laguna, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
You know, like halava,
It's simple.
it's butter, grains, sugar, water. And you can make it first class. So you just have a beautiful panchatattva, two great speakers, what, nice prasadam, nice kirtan. It's a festival. They need so much arrangement. You've got to work for a whole year, for a 2-week vacation. Hopefully in the Caribbean somewhere where your wife or girlfriend doesn't dump you. You don't barf all over yourself with a hangover. I mean, how is that happiness? You know what keeps everybody going? This has got a bit of a ring to it. Is Janardanji here?
Yeah,
It kind of feels like I'm in a football stadium. And maybe whatever you can do. Everybody thinks the person next to them is having a great time. You know, if I was just doing it right, like everybody else, or at least a significant portion, then I'd be happy. I just have to change things, adjust things, do it a little bit differently, and I'll be happy. It's the grand illusion. Do we have kartals? This drum is way too high. Do we have an alternative? Or are we just going to play on the tambourine? Hit the other one. No, hit the other one. Let's see how flat is flat. Maybe too flat for you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari. Don't make me drag you. Don't make me drag you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari. Gopijanna Balava Girivanadari. Gopijana Balava Girivanadari. Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Jamunatiravanatari. Jamunatiravanatari. Jararo Madhava Kunda Bihari. Gopijana Balava Girivanadari. Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Jamunatiravanatari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Boom! Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Boom! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Boom! Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pari Bhajakacharya Siddhashish His Divine Grace Abhaycharan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON BBT founder Acharya Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Anantakota Vaishya Brinda Ki. Namchar Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Shri Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Guru Bhakta Brinda Ki. Say Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavan Dham Ki. Mithura Dham Ki. Dwarka Dham Ki. Navri Dham Ki. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki. Jamuna Mai Ki. Ganga Mai Ki. Tosi Maharani Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Sambhita Bhakti Vinda Ki. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Say Sri Radha Giridhari Ki. Shri Krishna Sankirtana Jaga Ki. Go Premanandi. All glories to the sum of devotees. All glories to the sum of devotees. All glories to the sum of devotees. All glories to divine Lidasita Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Krishna Swadama Bhagate Dharmaganadi Bisaha Kalana Sadashamesha Parano Kodinotita Narayanaskichandram Shaivam Narotama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat. The Bhagavatam is as brilliant as the sun. It is arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied with knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost their vision through the dense darkness of the age of Kali should get light out of this Purana. Before beginning our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, we should first offer our respects to the personality of God in Narayan, to the Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, the goddess of living Mother Saraswati, the author Srila Vyasadeva, and my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. We could open, why don't we open, because that's a little cold, I don't want it blowing on you guys. We could open this one just a crack. Zach. About this much. Lest the cold attack. Did we say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya? No. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are on, if my technology cooperates, Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 1, Text 57. Correcto? Well, that makes things easier, doesn't it? So yam stiti vyatikaro pasamaya shristan satvena na. Well, that didn't help. Suraganan anumeya tattva drishyad adabra karunena vilokanena yach tri niketam amalam. Let's see. Shipataravindam soyam stiti vyatikaro pasamaya shristan satvena nasuraganana anumeya tattvaha drishyada dabra karunena vilokanena yatri niketam amalam shipitaravindam soyam stiti vyatikaro pasamaya shristan satvena nasuragana anumeya tattva drishyada dabra karunena vilokanena yatri niketam amalam shipitaravindam soyam stiti vyatikaro pasamaya shristan satvena nasuragana anumeya tattva drishyada dabra karunena vilokanena yatri niketam amalam shipitaravindam
drishyada dabra karunena vilokanena
yatri niketam amalam shipitaravindam
yatri niketam amalam Chitaravindam.
Soyam stiti vyatikaro pasamaya shristan. Satvena nasagananena tattvam. Soyam stiti vyatikaro pasamaya shristan. Satvena nasaraganananumeya sattva. Drisyada badra karunena vilokanena. Yachri niketa mamalam shipitara vindam. Not the G. Not the G's. Don't be shy. Even if imperfectly heard or chanted, it's completely pure. Yo samvikatero pasemaya sristan. Satvena nasaragana anumeya tattva. Drishyada badra karunena vilokanena. Yachri chiketa mamalam shipitarda vindam. Soyam stiti vyatikaro parimaya nistan. Satvena nasuragana anumeya tattva. Anukanena. Yetamamalam shipitara vindam. Dravida Prabhu, Suragana is translated as demigods. Now, what does Gana mean? Acha, many, okay. Translation. Let that personality, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is understood by truly authorized Vedic literature, and who has created peace and prosperity to destroy all calamities of the created world, be kind enough to bestow his glance upon the demigods. His merciful glance can supersede the beauty of the spotless lotus flower, which is the home of the goddess of fortune. Nice verse, huh? Also you say, let that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is understood by truly authorized Vedic literature, and who has created peace and prosperity, to destroy all the calamities of the created world, be kind enough to bestow his glance upon the demigods. His merciful glance can supersede the beauty of the spotless lotus flower, which is the home of the goddess of fortune. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the origin of the cosmic manifestation, is covered by the wonderful activities of the material nature, just as outer space, or the illumination of the sun and the moon, is sometimes covered by clouds or dust. It is very difficult to find the origin of the cosmic manifestation. Therefore, material scientists conclude that nature is the ultimate cause of all manifestations. But from Shastra, or the authentic literature like Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic scriptures, we understand that beyond this wonderful cosmic manifestation is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in order to maintain the regular procedures of the cosmic manifestation and to be visible to the eyes of persons who are in the mode of goodness, the Lord appears. He is the cause of creation and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. The demigods therefore prayed for his merciful glance upon them in order to be blessed. Om Agyanatamarandasya Gyanagyanasalakaya Jakshushimilitan Tasmade Shri Gurave Namaha. So as we have said before and will say again, the Bhagavatam is not antiquated folklore meant for sentimentalists. Rather, it addresses the core issues, the existential questions of human existence. Let me ask you a question. Who in this room does not want to become peaceful? Raise your hand. It's not a trick question. I know I do. Right? Who doesn't want to become prosperous? I mean, I know we're all devotees, we're renounced, but you know, in the core of our heart, to at least to prosper in the sense of to grow, to be developed, to be nurtured, supported, sustained, doesn't necessarily mean you have a fat belly and a big bank balance. So, peace, prosperity, okay. I mean, that's what everybody's running around in circles for. Like a dog chasing their... You ever seen a dog? Do dogs chase their tail? Puppies chase their tail. Dogs, after a while, at least they realize that's not going to happen. So, it talks about the cause of all causes being covered, and therefore the mundane wranglers, as Prabhupada, or Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur calls them, they can't see beyond the tip of their nose. The basic premise is, if it cannot be measured, it doesn't really matter. Doesn't exist. If I can't see it, smell it, taste it, touch it, cut it into tiny pieces, break it down to its smallest common denominator, if I can't simulate it, and even more important, if I can't control it, just like you see, they pin up a specimen. Pretty horrible, actually. You know, they take the dried beetles or the whatever it may be, or the butter, and they pin it, stretch it out, and they can stand over it, and I can chop it up into pieces. Well, that assumes there's an a priori acceptance that I am at the top of the chain, that everything is subordinate to me, isn't it? If I can break everything down into tiny pieces, it means that I'm superior to everything. My intellect, my power of control is superior. Suppose I'd stood up in the Giriraj Maharaj is speaking, or Indradyumna Maharaj is speaking, the deities are open, and I stood up and said, everything, everyone in this room is under me, subordinate to me. What would you think? I think, well, the Swami's finally gone off his rocker. We knew he was on the edge, and he's finally just gone off the deep end. Give him some prasadam and put him out the pasture in Mayapur, you know. I mean, it's great. It'd be a type of... Well, don't in the old cartoon movies, or when the guy's insane, he's got his hand in his vest and turns his hat sideways and thinks he's Napoleon. It's a sign of madness, isn't it? Well, that guy's nutty as a fruitcake. So, but the whole material world is working on the premise that everything is subordinate to my control, even though they're being flooded by hurricanes and tornadoes, and there's 457 deluxe homes have been burned to ash by this recent volcano in Hawaii. 457, and it's the lava just, you know. Oh yeah, expensive homes with a view of the beautiful volcano. You know? So I mean, there's just where do you stop? Typhoid is coming. Typhoid is coming back. Bubonic plague. There is only one antibiotic left. A thin pharmaceutical line holding back bubonic plague, tuberculosis. Yeah, they're breeding it. Homeless, and I don't mean to find fault with the homeless. They get enough, we're all homeless wandering in this world. That's another issue. Back home, back to Godhead. But, they get infection in their lungs, coughing. They go to the hospital. They jack them up full of antibiotics. They couple days they release them because it's too expensive to keep them, and then they want to go, you know, they stop taking their meds. They go back to, you know, drinking Johnny Walker or whatever it is, and they forget all about it. And the strain of the, whatever it is, the bacteria or what, I don't know, whatever it is, grows. And it's a little more resistant. They go back, and they don't kill it completely. Still breathe. Then they go back into the hospital, they get another dose of antibiotic, you know, and in this way, tick, 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 the strain of tuberculosis is being, every time it becomes stronger, less drug resistant. They've got, like I say, tuberculosis, they only have one thing left. I mean, they're working out there, you know, whatever it is, Pfizer or whatever their pharmaceutical company, they're working away because there's money there. But anyway, the idea that everything is subordinate to my perception, to my control, to my intellect. I've said it before, I'll say it again. What is one of my favorite things when they say, as far as I know? How far do you know? From how far do you know? Well, life as we know it. Well, what about life as you don't know it? Well, we don't even think about that. If you know a horse with blinders, you know the blinders so the horse isn't distracted or disturbed, so they just can see what's in front of them? Suppose I put on glasses, put on blinders, and I can see up to Badrinarayan, and I can see to Ramapati. Okay, you all exist. The rest of you guys, hey, no prashad for you. I think, what? What do you mean? I'm standing right here. So because I don't see. Adrista is the Sanskrit term which means we do not have a word, the Sanskrit language does not have a word for the concept by chance. There's no such word. Just like in the Japanese, what's the time? Oh jeez, Louise. Who were the guys? The Jesuits who went to Japan. And their whole idea was to give the word of God to the heathens. So one of the first things they do is learn the local language, translate the Bible, and give them the Bible in Swahili or whatever it is, you know. They could not crack Japan. They said the Japanese language was created by the devil. Because because of the Buddhists, they're Zen Buddhists. I mean, they're animists, and the rest of them are Zen Buddhists. They've gone all the way over. They have no concept of the word God. Our first literature introduces the word Krishna, introduces the word God, and asks them, check with someone to make sure you have a clear definition. Because they don't really have the concept. How can you have the concept? How can you understand the follow-on principles if you don't understand the initial concept? So in the Vedic literature, there is no concept of chance. They use, what is the word they use? Adrista. What does adrista mean? It means there's a cause, you just can't see it. So I can put on my blinders and say, you guys don't exist, I don't see you, but who the hell, I mean, no offense, but who am I? You know? Do you need to certify your existence because I say you don't exist? Dravida Prabhu, you don't exist. Yeah, you always suspected. I'm tired of being treated like nothing. Chopped cabbage. Demand your rights. So it's silly. I mean, I actually want to say something else, but it's a silly, arrogant, hugely, it is arrogant to the point of insanity. Well, there's only life on this planet as far as we know. Maybe there was water on Mars. I mean, okay. Got that off my chest. So the point is that really things need to be descending. There's ascending and descending. Ascending is, let me ask you a question. Well, hang on a minute, you sentimental theist. Knowledge is growing. Our pool, our foundation of knowledge has grown. I mean, look, Swami, you're living because of modern medicine. I'm living by Krishna's grace, by Lord Nrsinga's protection. That's the actual fact. But hey, I got a pacemaker, I got this, I got that, you know, and that was the way, you know. They used to think anesthesia, knock them over the head or give them some whiskey. You know, now, hey, you know, we got so many refined forms. We're making progress. We are building on a foundation, generation of knowledge. Sure, we don't know. We can't create life right now. You know, like Prabhupada says, you know, about a chicken factory. Prabhupada had been in South India, in a part of South India near Hyderabad. Evidently, there's a whole lot of chicken farms. Yeah, and Prabhupada said, I was just listening to it yesterday. Prabhupada says hatcheries. They're chicken hatcheries. And he says the same thing in Mauritius. Evidently, they're growing tobacco in chicken hatcheries. So Prabhupada says, you know, that was their main economic developments, tobacco growing in, you know, chicken hatcheries. So Prabhupada says, you can analyze the thing. There's a white shell, there's some yellow substance, there's some this, that. Prabhupada says, put all the chemicals together, put it in a white plastic shell, and then Prabhupada says, and sit on it. So, you know, it's like, first time I heard sit on it used in a transcendental way. And sit on it and see if you can hatch an egg. Otherwise, the chicken is better than you, you know. So, well, hang on, man, that's just completely bogus. We're making progress. We'll get there. You know, we've now discovered, you know, different amino acids and different proteins, and we've simulated the first, you know, building block of life. We'll get there. As we've built in so many other areas, as our knowledge has expanded, the same thing will happen. You know, just it's a bogus argument, you theists. Sadaputa's counter. Sure. In the Olympics, there's a what do you call it? A test of strength, high jumping. When they first started the Olympics, or when high jumping first came into the Olympics, I don't know when, 1920s, well, who knows, whatever. Before World War, anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. So let's suppose they could jump 12 feet, pole vault. You know pole vaulting? You know, what did I say? High jump? I mean pole vault. Pole vault. And, you know, now they've got, you know, different running tactics, special shoes. They've got more, you know, tensile strength in the pole and flexibility. And, you know, I think they're up to, what, 18 feet? So, hey, we've made progress, right? Sadaputta said, sure, you may get up to 20 feet. You may get, but is anyone ever going to be able to pole vault to the moon? Isn't it? And he was explaining in mathematics, and even in breeding, you know, you can, I mean, look at all the dogs. There's so many different kinds of, I mean, like, anyway, I got these 2 dogs that moved into the complex where I live. And a little rat dog, I don't know, it's half Chihuahua and half something else, you know. So you can breed dogs. They breed all kinds, big fluffy ones, small ones, there's ugly, you know, I mean, there's so many different things. Oh, jeez. So, but, I'll give you another example. There were no rabbits in Australia. They did not exist in Australia. The Palmies, prisoners of Mother England, you know, shipped off to the penal colony. They're laughing now. They're in Australia where everything's they can on a tiny little island. Probably said the British lion is badly bandaged. So, but anyway, they had no rabbits. They were not there. They were an indigenous species. But they, you know, people brought their little pet rabbits from England, brought their little pet rabbits. Some of the little rabbits got loose. Rabbits did what they do, and they began breeding. But in due course of time, those white rabbits, over the course of breeding, reverted back to the natural brown colored rabbit. In other words, the breeding, they bred themselves out of the hybrid inbreeding. Also, you can breed up to a certain point. You can breed fruit flies, this and that. So I think it's, I don't want to say the wrong thing inaccurately. But they have discovered that most species, I think all, but after you breed them to a certain point, they become sterile. Like a rubber band, you can only stretch it so far, and it'll either snap back or it'll break. So this whole idea, it can only, it's one of the arguments again, and a very good one against evolution. It comes to a point that it either snaps back or it breaks, becomes sterile, doesn't function. The organism will no longer function. So, sure, you can go from 12 feet to 14 feet, 16. Let's say you pole vault a mile high. Gold medal. But you're not going to make it to the moon. You're not going to, you know. So the simple point is there are limits. And similarly, there are limits to human knowledge. There are things that are inconceivable, that are beyond our perception. Lord Brahma folds his hands after Krishna calls all the different devas, all assemble, not all the devas, all the Indras, all the Brahmas, and all the Shivas. I was just reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, from all over the creation. And each one can only see themselves. They can only see their 100 head or 1,000 head or whatever it is. But our four-headed Brahma could see all the others, could see the whole thing. Because, anyways, you know, I don't have too much time on the story. But the point is, he says at the end of that, now, Brahma, it's a culmination. Picture a triangle, and then picture an inverted triangle. You with me? Triangle, triangle. So, all existence in this material world, Teni Brahma Adakavaye, comes to Lord Brahma. And then the other triangle, like, you know, from Brahma, and then it goes beyond to the unmanifest Brahma. And then the whole, ultimately, the apex, the widest base of experience is Krishna Loka. So Brahma, he knows everything coming down in the entire... And Brahma responds by saying, other people may say, they can say whatever they want. They think they know Krishna. And Krishna is a creation. Let them think like that. He says, let them think like that. But as far as I'm concerned, now Brahma's the person who actually can say, because everything, like, what is it, spider from the web, and they can wind it up and expand it? Isn't that Narada says. That's another one, holds it like a walnut. So Lord Brahma can actually speak about everything that flows from him, all existence. And he says, hey, say whatever you want. As far as I know, I can't really understand the full grasp of Krishna's material creation, or what to speak of Krishna himself. So, the only way to know what is beyond our intellectual capacity is, what's going on back? Oh, is it? Okay. Is descending knowledge. But the thing I actually wanted to say today, that's a premise, which is the rational basis for the principle of accepting descending knowledge, revelatory knowledge. There's a qualification. It talks about Krishna's glance, and I don't have time to flip back, but you know, it's nice poetry. The beautiful lotus, the perfect white lotus, which is the abode of the goddess of fortune. And if you're talking about prosperity, well, it flows from the goddess of fortune. If you're friends, if you have the mercy of the goddess of fortune, isn't it, don't they have the pictures of the goddess of fortune, the gold coins are flowing from her palm, or whatever it is, you know. So, what is a greater fortune, even then, the goddess of fortune, material goddess of fortune, is the glance of Krishna. Because the glance of Krishna gives real peace and prosperity. The reason we feel frustrated in devotional service mentally, one of the biggest mental constructs that people are always bouncing around in anxiety about, is why doesn't Krishna deliver on his terms? Hey, I'm a devotee. Where's the peace and prosperity? Where's the happiness? You know? Deliver it. Hey, come on, I'm trying. Must be no God, must not be true, no Vedic literature, it's all fantasy. Food's good, but hey, beyond that, I'm moving on. Okay, into class. No, no, I do have more to say. It's a definition of terms. When you get, I mean, in a marriage, for better or worse, richer or poor, health or sickness, it's a definition of terms. A contract, definite, so that unless the terms are clarified, you may have two different expectations. The husband thinks the wife's going to take care of him no matter what happens. The wife thinks that, hey, you get sick, man, I'm out of here. You got to have a shared terms if you want the relationship to work. Trump and the little rocket man. What do you mean by denuclearization? Oh, it's a whole discussion. Well, he thinks, okay, I stop here, and you guys move out all your missiles. But they say, no, 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 that's not what it means. It means you give up your program. So, hey, you got to define the terms. Otherwise, we're going to all be blown to smithereens. So defining the terms, business contract, relationship, you got to define the terms. You got to have a shared concept of the terms. Suppose you come to me and you expect X, and I give you Y instead. What do you think? Hey, you cheated me, isn't it? Hey, I wanted X. You promised me X and you gave me Y. Oh, Krishna, you promised me peace and prosperity. Where's my Mercedes? Why didn't you cure my cancer? Hey, I got a sniffle or a cold. Why didn't you pay my mortgage? It does sometimes happen like that. There's a number of, we're going to go over a few minutes, but it's okay. Rabindra Sarup tells the story. I have personal experience similar. I don't have to. I'll just tell Rabindra's as a prototype. But there's many, many examples. It doesn't mean we don't plan. It doesn't mean that, dying needy, just chant Hare Krishna and the money will come. It doesn't mean that at all. But in the old days, we really had no money. We really had no money. So it was the end of the month. They had no money. The landlord had said, look, you've paid me in quarters. You've tried to pay me in pakoras. You've paid a month late. That's it. I'm showing up on the 1st, and I want my cash, and not in quarters. So they didn't have the money. I mean, I remember paying in rolled quarters. $218. Ann Arbor, Michigan. ISKCON is ISKCON. That's what the mortgage was. Anyway, paid in quarters. So Rabindra, what to do? So they had no money. The guy was mad as hell and promised he was going to show up the next day with his money, or he was going to be there with the sheriff and evict him. They went downtown and they just chanted. They just had Harinam. Either show us another place to move to. Krishna, we cannot solve this problem. And a very tall man, quite handsome, Rabindra said he looked Nordic. Blue eyes, blonde hair. In my opinion, I'm putting a condition here that I'm speculating, but Rabindra shared the speculation, immaculately dressed, walked up to Rabindra, who was leading the kirtan, gave him an envelope and said, I think you need this, and turned and walked away. Rabindra wanted to, what is it? And as Rabindra tells the story, the guy just was gone, disappeared, maybe walked around a corner, but the guy was gone. They had the mortgage was $457. In the envelope was $450 in the envelope. So, sometimes Krishna does reciprocate like that. But as far as if you're expecting X and you give Y, you think you're cheated. No, they were $3 over. I meant to say whatever it was. They were $3 extra. They had a little skim, a little, padding. But here's my question. We come to the temple and we expect X. Give me peace and prosperity. But we're thinking material peace and prosperity. Where are you? Solve my material problems. Now, how many lifetimes have I had? How many lifetimes have you had? Who knows? It's anadi, isn't it? Incountable. So, Krishna fixed one of your problems in one of those lives, and that's considered giving you peace. If you're in the desert, you've been crawling along, looking for the oasis, right? And I come along with a glass of nimbu pani, of lemonade. Oh, thank you, but does it solve your problem? I say, bye. Here you go. Nice glass of lemonade. I'll put some ice in it. Click, click. Bye-bye. Problem solved? Are you happy? Think, hey, wait, get me out of here. So Krishna is delivering on his promise. Krishna delivers on his promise. He defines this world as temporary and full of misery. And all the great sages say it. In fact, Buddha says it. The Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path. This place sucks. Even the physicists, because there's gravity, say the world sucks, but that's another story. Everybody says it. Jesus says it. Every, the existentialists, it's all frustration. It's just that the only real question is whether to commit suicide or not. And really, the only question is how to commit suicide. That doesn't make a mess and is cause the least pain. Because everything else is, who was it? Who's my favorite guy? Brutish, beastly, and brief? Nasty, brutish, and short. Who was it? Is it Hobbes? Yeah. Nasty, in English, I think he's English. Anyway, whatever. English, what is it again? Nasty, brutish, and short. That's this. So everybody who's got a brain, even those who only have half a brain, we've got sumedasa, some subtle brain, developed brain, to understand Krishna. The point is that Krishna delivers on his promise. We don't have a clear understanding of terms. We want Krishna to solve our petty. We're looking, as Dhruva Maharaj says, broken glass, and Krishna's trying to give us a jewel. So I'll save it from, I want to say more about Krishna's glance and how to get that glance. But we want Krishna's glance. I guess I'll just say this, and I promise I'll finish here. We have to, if we want real peace and prosperity, not cheated, not paltry, petty, putrid, pernicious, and of only a short time, no. If we want real peace and real prosperity, we have to gain Krishna's glance. And how do we get Krishna's mercy? We have to surrender. We have to develop a relationship with Krishna. Of course, Yasya Prasad has to go through the spiritual master. That whole thing is there. But my point is it has to be earned. You have to earn it. And how do you earn it? By service. And where is the surrender if service is easy? The devotees, it's a long story. Short version is they wanted to build more housing for the devotional housing at the project in Milano. In order to do that, they had to, they say, okay, you can develop this, acreage, but you also have to do something for the community. You have to build a park or a library or a fire station, something that helps support the community. So they went down the whole thing. The only thing they would allow them to do was, I forget what it was like I say, a fire station or this or that. But you could build a pool. It was community. Devotees could use it. And the community could use it. Devotees used to sneak over there right after Mangalarti, pour a little Charnamrita from bathing the deities. So the whole thing became like the Ganga. All the karmis are jumping in and getting great along with the devotees. But the devotees also opened a bakery next to it. Devotional, prasadam. And people were going there to swim in the pool and to lose weight. But they'd get out after swimming in the pool and working out, what do you have? An appetite. And they walked past the fragrant bakery. And I tell the devotees in Italy, they know, Prabhupada certified, you also know how to feast, Prabhupada said. And they were going to the pool, swimming for an hour, getting the, cannoli on the way home and gaining weight, So they said, what do you want us to do? Close the bakery? No, don't close the bakery. So the bakery's still there, the swimming pool is there, and the neighbors are getting fatter and fatter. So what was my point? Yeah, you're not going to just eat cannoli and say, well, I'm exercising my jaw, therefore I'm going to lose weight, So where is the progress in devotional service? Where is the surrender? Where is the prayer? Where is the development of the sense of dependency? Where is the reciprocation? How does the loving relationship between the jiva and the Supreme Lord develop unless there's tension? How will we develop surrender unless we're in a position where we feel we need to surrender? Arjuna, was it spoken as Arjuna was sleeping on a cushion and being fanned? Where was Bhagavad Gita spoken? On a battlefield where Arjuna said, I go left, I go right, I go up, I go down. Anything I do, I suffer. And it's inauspicious. Krishna, please help me. Where there's tension, where there's difficulty, then Krishna can reciprocate. He gives Krishna a handle. He can get a hold of our heart and our consciousness. So if we don't take responsibility, If we just do what's easy, and as soon as our brain feels a little pressurized, oh, where's peace? Where's prosperity? Where's Krishna? If we don't take responsibility, I'll do as little as possible and get my prasadam. We used to have for Mangalartik in New Vrindavan, they called it, there was the, what was it? There was the fan club, the Lions Club, and the Garden Club for Mangalartik. Anyone know what the fan club, Lions Club? Okay, Dravida Prabhu. Just in time for the arti. You're the Radhagirdhai fan club. Okay? Lions Club. Now, other than him, who knows the garden? I just blew it right there. The Garden Club. Show up just in time for Tulsi. So, I mean, okay, fine. You're here. Great. You know, you're out of millions of conditioned souls. Here you are. But what about taking responsibility? That I'm going to do this for Krishna. I'm not going to be told 30 times and do it half-baked. I'm going to do it out of love for Krishna. Then Krishna can reciprocate. And if it's difficult, what do I have to do? Pray. I have to think about it. How to do it nicer. How to do it better. How to improve my skills. That's called bhakti. So if we want an easygoing, if we say, Krishna, you're not keeping your promise because you promised to make me happy in this material world. But we don't want to stay in this material world. We don't want to stay in the desert and get only a glass of lemonade. We want to get out of here. This will be the last thing I'm going to say. We want to get out of here. And if we want to get out of here, it requires developing a relationship with Krishna and getting his loving glance. And we will move incrementally, glacially, if we don't take up responsible service and accept some tension for Krishna. Because then we'll advance, then we'll pray, then we will get Krishna's merciful glance. Okay, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you.